Welcome back to Factorio in the March 2021 community map. So last time I got the purple production science done, but as you can see there's nowhere near enough resource. Mostly I think steel and possibly also stone, because I've got as many miners as I can here. And as well as stone, the stone bricks are short as well, so that's just not enough stone in general. So I could just leave it running for a really long time until I get this one, and then finally the rocket, and then just build the rocket stuff. But I think at this point it's worth still expanding the factory, so I'm going to start with trying to expand out the steel. I think that's the biggest issue. Now I did leave some space here, but having thought about it, I don't really see a good way to get the iron ore from here over to here. It's kind of blocked off. But I think this gap here was big enough, as I mentioned last time. So if I take this as a copy job, and we're going to copy, let's say 2 of these, let's see what that looks like. And yeah, I think actually I can get 4 of them in there, which is essentially to double my steel production. I'll be copying all of these here. So if I just take all of these, and I kind of don't want that actually, I'm just going to delete that because I don't need that inserter anyway. So it's everything here up to here, and I'll probably have to change how the coal works slightly because coal is over here. But it looks like it does fit. In fact, I might even be able to get an extra one in the side there. So I'm going to come over about as far as I can. Looks like I just need to get that belt out of the bottom left. That looks good there. And like I said, this will have to change. Let's just get rid of those. Let the bots come and do it. And it should be a fairly simple job to get the coal over. What I think I'd do for iron is I could make a separate station. And I think I've left enough space here. If I'll move it down a tile if I need to. But for the iron ore, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take this. And let's put another set of belts on the other side. Actually, like 6 of these inserts is slightly faster than the fast belt. But I think it's just simpler to have it on the other side of the wagon right now. And then that's going to come round. Put this splitter somewhere, I guess here works, then it can come down and into this. Actually, I think I am going to need to move it down one because I need the coal and the iron ore. That's 2 things. Maybe there would be a bit better, just so I can get the coal and the iron in. The main downside is it limits how many I can put here, but I can always put some more over here. And probably after the rockets, I have like a load of space over here, so if I was to continue this game, I think building a new base using beacons and modules over here would be the order of play. So we're still started. Next up for stone. So I think I'm going to do for stone is there's not really any space here for a station. Actually, that's the stone there, that was gears I was looking at. And this is kind of cramped as well, so since I deleted this power plant down here to make the big one over up there, which I still haven't quite finished, but got more than enough power for the time being, as you can see, using just a tiny bit of my capacity. That was a very big power plant I did build. And I've got coal here as well, so I was thinking I might as well just build this well here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, I think, half of this because of the speed of the stone. So that's going to be 12. So it's going to take this along with the splitter and stuff and see what this looks like if I build it somewhere around here. I think that works quite nicely because the stone blocks can come along this way. I can always run the belt upwards instead of downwards if I want to. So I think go about there. I can also take this station design. I think I've left myself more than enough space to put a station there. And it's very unlikely I'm ever going to need to have inserters on both sides for stone. In fact, I'll probably only need 1 or 2 of these belts to start with at all. So that can fit on there quite nicely. In the event I do have multiple stone trains, I have space for 2 to wait. So that's handy. Now let's just copy this corner because it's easy to get the bends right. Yep, that wasn't quite right. Because here, once I do a shorter one, I want it to kind of do the same thing. Well, I suppose it doesn't really matter all that much. And I think I'm just out of range of building that station, so move over, Mr. Power Pole. So this is going to have stone coming in. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. But like I said, I'm not going to use all of these initially, just that one. So that's just going to come on there, and I think the coal will go probably the other way again as it happens, so this way round. And I forgot I did on the copper, I did the belt the other direction, remember? I actually don't want it the other direction for bricks, I just want it to come down. Okay, slight miscalculation there. I put the train station right up against the balancer. I think I can do is just move the balancer somewhere else really, so that can then underground past the train stop. Like so. And then I think I've even left enough space, yeah. So that's going to come down like that. Then that can go there, and right now I just really need one of them though. So the stone mine turns out to be very small. The only one I had on the map was this one. And there's a big one over there, but it's going to be a bit of effort to get around to it, so I've just gone on the small one for now. But since stone also stacks to 15, I will need quite a bit of stone eventually for those furnaces. I have decided to just go 4 wagons because that's essentially the design I've already been using for this. This does mean it's going to take a little bit of time to fill up the first train. But like once the first train's filled up, then it's just a question of like how often it comes rather than throughput. The throughput will be the same. The throughput is whatever these miners can do. So I don't really see an issue with that. It'll just take a little bit of time to get started. And maybe I'll just send it off the first time when it's half full or something. So one more potentially useful thing while I'm kind of waiting on this research. Since I've now got a bit more stone going, I was going to come in like bursts as the train arrives. It would be good to start doing modules. So I think what I'm going to do is have 15 of the basic ones as a starting point. And I'm just going to make the speed and the productivity modules. And I probably should have done this a long time ago because with Minable Intermediates I do have a lot of circuits and I just kind of sat around not really doing much right now. And at the very least I want to get some tier 3 productivity modules to put into the rocket launcher itself to reduce the cost of that. And also I could put these into science, which would actually help me out quite a bit. Could make like all my research a lot better. So what I'm essentially going to do here is have productivity and then speed. And I'm going to put the basic and advanced circuits I think on the bottom here, so it's going to be like that for inserters. So they're going to come out there, tile along here, keep going. Now if I'm making one of these per second, these need 4, so that means I need one every, what's that, 15. Hang on, so yeah, a bit of brain fart there. So I was on the right track. So if I needed one every, so if I needed 30 of these for one every productivity module a second, but it needs 4. So actually I don't need 30 of these. I need 30 of these divided by 4, which is about 7.5. So I'm going to make 8 because it'll probably back up at some point. So that'd be 8 of those. It's not 8, that is 5. That is 8. And then for this one here, that needs 5 of the previous thing. So actually I'm going to grab a piece of paper to work that one out. So to make one of these, it requires 5 of these and 4 of these. That's going to be 4 times 5, which is going to be 20. So I need to have a total of 20 of those. I'm making 1 per second, so that means I can make one of these every 20 seconds, well, times the crafting speed of whichever sewing machines I use. They take 60, so that means I can have exactly 3 of those for the 15 original things, and this has to move out the way. And I believe for speed modules it is exactly the same. So I kind of still looking for things to do while I wait on the science, and could do some more circuits. I haven't seen any. I could just drive around aimlessly, but with these like rail maps, there's a lot of ground to cover just trying to explore. So what I've done is I've made this little solar panel thing here, just copper, steel and circuits. And so what I'm going to do is make some like little outposts around the place. I think I'm going to go with 4 radars, and I believe that requires a total of 20 panels to power them. And obviously this will only work during the day. I'm not going to bother with batteries and stuff. I just want them to do the radar scanning. So then that would be what, 5? Now, if I'm not even sure what sort of layout will work best here, let's try and go around the power pole, see what that looks like. Doesn't quite line up, does it? Oh well. Maybe if I go one further out, that looks like it lines up. So that's going to be, how many is that? I wanted 20, that's too many. So see what happened, that's 16. Leave there, and that is 20. There we go, so that's ideal. So during the day, this should have full power and these will scan. And if you look at this, you see as it's getting brighter, the power is going up. It should eventually get to the total 1.3. And I suppose I could give them some extras just to help bootstrap them. We'd let them function for more of the day. Let's see what that looks like. If I don't get myself stuck in. So that's 28 and I can carry, let's go for, let me actually clear that. Let's go for carrying 90, which is 2 stacks. So I can then deploy 3 of these out before I have to return back to base. So of course, as luck would have it, just while I was placing these down here, maybe a third one over there, but I don't think I brought, no, I didn't bring enough. I'm making some more though, so I'll better do that in a moment. But I did just find these advanced circuits are quite a way though. So I'm actually sure if I'm going to do them right now before the rockets, because I'm already onto the rocket side by the time I did that. And I might just be better off served like making use of the resources I've got. It's going to take a lot of time and effort to get down there. But it means I do have that found already. I've also seemed to have found some iron there, and I am starting to scan out in this area. And it should show me basically what's around here. So actually look at this. Now I've expanded the stone with the new stone bricks, even though this is a bit intermittent. With that expansion and with all the extra steel, but still not really enough in total, as you can see there. Red circuits are starting to become maybe an issue. And I'm not really got anything else I can do right now, so I might as well spend this time starting on that project. So I got all the way down here and built the mine. Nothing really exciting to show here. It's essentially the same as the processing units that I built way back with the 2 tanks and the chests. So the difference here is going to be, this is going to be petroleum gas instead of for acid, but otherwise this is basically the same thing. And then for the other end, I'm just going to go quickly do that and again build more or less the same thing and then set a train up. So I was figuring out how this junction will work. So what I've kind of done is merged this one into here. So this is actually going to be used in both directions for trains turning right along there and for turns turning right along here. And that signal is not quite in the right place, I guess. Yeah, it needs to go back a bit. So trains can't wait here because they'd end up basically facing each other and being a head-to-head blockage. So train signal here and here to prevent that. Likewise a train signal here to try and prevent the train turning right here, blocking the other track. And the train signal extends down here for the same, so the train turning right here needs to have free clearance. I think actually should be one here as well for the trains turning right out of here. And no doubt I'll regret this eventually. It's kind of too much like pushed together, and there is a loop here on the gears. On the other hand, none of these things like the circuit, whether this coal becomes, and these gears here, none of them are going to have very many trains. So I'd be more worried about this one because a lot of iron trains trying to turn right here, and if too many iron trains were to come, partly why I've got this train limit, if the train's ever backed up to here and stopped, and the train here was trying to turn right, it would gridlock. So I'm probably going to regret some of these train decisions in the end, but I think this works for the time being. As for the station itself, this is basically identical to the process units one. So I can have a locomotive here, 2 fluid wagons, 2 cargo wagons, and they're going to unload there. This I can merge together, and I'm going to merge it into that, and I left space here for 2 belts, so I'm just going to put the second belt in. and then essentially that will go there. This will need to move over a bit, I guess. Or I could do actually something more complicated, so because that's not a packed belt anyway. So if this was to be basically a fast splitter, input priority on the right, second belt's going to go here. Then these two can merge together, give me one fast belt, and that one fast belt can feed into there. And because this one is continuous, I'm giving it priority because this will then just like pick up the slack, because this will be a bit more bursty as trains arrive and depart. But that looks like it's got its gas ready, so again this is going to be basically the same as before. Go to advanced circuits, go to unload. Can't use full cargo because it has the fluid as well, so we're going to wait until the gas is less than or equal to 0, so the gas is empty, or until the item count on the red circuits is greater than or equal to 8,000, which is 2 wagons. Then for this it's going to be fluid count 2 wagons is going to be 50,000, so that's when the gas is full. And then also when it's got rid of all of the red circuits, so wait until it's filled with the gas and filled with red circuits, emptied red circuits, which it has. So it's going to go off, head down there, and then I'll just check on it in a moment to make sure it's actually working. Takes quite a while to get down there, but this is going to empty the gas almost immediately and then go to get a gas refill. Thing to check here, I'm just going to check all these miners actually work, and it does appear they have all started up. And hopefully this is a much larger patch actually than the one over here, both in terms of total amount and just number of miners I have to get. This has 70 miners compared to before I had, what's this, like 50, 51? Well, 50 because that one's dead. So I'm more than doubling my red circuit production, so that's going to be nice. Although it took such a long time to actually build all the way down there and build trains and stuff, the rocket silo is halfway done already. But I've got something to do rather than just sitting around watching the clock, so to speak. So with the rocket about halfway done, I should really start working on stuff to build it. That's going to be getting concrete, which I don't have, making sure I have electric engines and steel stored up. That'll just be a chest. And also stuff for the actual rocket parts themselves, which is these. Low density structures, I've already got them because I need them for science. So I need rocket control units and rocket fuel, and if I get those tier 3 production modules, let's try that again, tier 3 productivity modules, then I only need 720 of each of these to build a rocket rather than 1000. So starting with the rocket fuel, this requires light oil and solid fuel. You can make solid fuel from light oil, so I think the easiest way to do this is just to make the whole thing from light oil, so going from there into one of those. Now the ratio is not really perfect because look at this, it's 30 and this is 2, so you get one of those for every 2 and you need 10, so that's 20 to 30, plus the crafting speed is different. But this is a really simple layout, and I think having assembly machines that don't run like all the time, they pause, isn't really a big deal if you can just have a simple layout in return, which is basically this with, oops, wrong tab, inserters in between and then inserters for output. It's so much simpler this way than trying to get the ratio correct that I just think this way is easier, really. And I've just built a bunch of those. I should just build them in this direction. So that's going to do what's 12, probably way more than I need. I haven't actually done a calculator on this, but again, because this layout is so simple, it's like, well, if it's more machines than I need and it backs up, I'm not really worried because I didn't spend 2 hours building the thing, unlike say furnace layouts or stuff. So this is going to feed into, I might as well use the logistic chests I've got. So that's going to feed into there, and we'll just say store 2 stacks for the time being, and I'll request it somewhere because I got the roboport right there. I just need to link this up with some light oil, but it's not behind this pump. I want it to use the light oil regardless of how much is stored. The throughput on this will be controlled by when that chest there gets full. So I think hair works because that's the output from the heavy oil, and that goes to the tank over there. And this pipe, it can flow either that way or that way depending on what it needs at a given moment. So rocket fuel is done, just leave that to do its thing. Next up I'm going to do concrete. Now the problem I've got with concrete that's going to make this complicated is it needs stone bricks, which means I could do it here. I actually disabled this before because I wasn't using those stone bricks anymore because of the new one. But I can use these stone bricks for this to get 1,000 concrete. So that's going to be storing into there. Those down there. But the other thing this needs is water, and it needs copper, water and iron ore, which is partly why I decided to build it kind of here, because the water is there. And I've got iron ore here. These are like not running full capacity right now, so my simple solution for the time being is going to be to take that iron ore using a filtered inserter. Not a filtered inserter, actually I'll use a splitter for that, since the splitters now have filters. So that's going to be able to come down here, come down there, and that'll provide me a quick solution for concrete, because I need to make 1,000 of it. It's not a massive amount, just to make the one silo. So for rocket control units, I'm going to need speed modules and processing units. Processing units I can just take off the belt. So a speed module every 30 seconds. Speed modules are made one every 15 seconds. So that means if I have one speed module thing, I can have 2 rocket control things. So these are going to be rocket control and speed module. And unlike the rocket fuel, this ratio is very simple and direct. So I'm just going to use this 1 to 2. Bring in the items there, bring out the items there. So it's going to be 3 belts of input, 1 for each of those, 1 for that, and then 1 for the output. I can just copy paste this a bunch of times, not again sure how many I want. Definitely want them to be lined up though, so let's do that, that's convenient. And I'll bring in the resources, and that should be that done. So one last thing before I finish off with the rocket. So I had this effect transmission to come afterwards, so I actually need to make the beacons. So if we look at these, they require copper wire cable, circuits, and steel. So what I'm going to do is have a copper cable thing here, and then that can feed into 2 of these for making the actual beacons. They can feed out there. Guess I'll use a pass provider, might as well. And I guess actually I might as well use requested chest on that for the circuits. No reason for me to have to go get them all manually. So copper cable made in this one, so that one's plate. This one will then have cable made. And do I want it to just fill up in the sea? Well, I can use a circuit condition. Another nice little circuit. I could make a different chest or something, but what I think I can do here is if this is weird content, this will just be limiting how much cable gets left in there. So 100. And then these are going to have the steel and the circuits as well. So one of those, and one of those, I believe. Just check that quickly. Yep, that is correct. And because I'm doing this research after the rocket silo, I kind of want to get it built as quickly as possible. So I'm going to have 2 of these set up. And in fact, slight design change, they can all insert into the same final chest. So I got distracted with all the circuit expansion, and I kind of didn't build those rocket control units anywhere near as soon as I should. So I've done a really big expansion to try and get the rest of these made quickly. I think at the moment, if I look at 1 hour, I've made 300 and I need 720 in total to launch this rocket. So that was like really late to actually build the thing, and that wasn't really cutting it. So big expansion here to start making those a little bit quicker. And likewise, never really got around to doing those productivity modules. In fact, I probably should have done this with like productivity modules 1 then 2 and just upgraded them. But my intention was to basically put these in the science labs initially, to basically make the science a lot more efficient. This is plus 20%, so basically every one of these packs counts as 1.2 packs now. So that would have been really nice to have had done like a long time ago, but I didn't really get around to it. So just coming up on the rocket here, I'm just going to check how this rocket stuff is doing. So control units, going to look back to an hour so I can see the total number. And yeah, the extra reduction now, I'm up to over 800 total, so I have surpassed what I required to build the rocket. So that's all very nice. And I have got somewhere here, I put all my stuff in the chest so I could hold this. I got the productivity modules. So once this is done, I'm going to immediately build the silo. With this, I can handcraft it, then put the productivity in, get some stack inserters, which are here somewhere, there they are, and then start loading these construction parts into the rocket silo to build the rocket. And as soon as the technology is done for effect transmission, I can start adding beacons around to speed the rocket up. And at least I'll get this very last step done quickly, even if it's taken, I think, over 13 hours so far to get to here. Because I was very short on the raw materials for these science packs. And I wasn't all that fast building the science either, to be honest. Been a while since I played vanilla, especially not with the expensive recipes and not to an 8 times multiplier. Okay, so that's done, so... And yeah, I put the wrong number in here, should have put 200, that's fine. Get that built. I don't pick all my stuff up now as well, it's just because I didn't have enough space there for the steel. It does take a while to build this time, I'm kind of just waiting on this to build. And I guess, I don't know, will the sewing machine 2 speed modules be faster than handcrafting? I think it actually might be. Might be a fast way of doing this, but it's going to be done in a few seconds here, I think. And yep, that's done. So that build, I want the modules in first so I get productivity straight away, and then get these assembly machines going, inserters rather. So this is the productivity, so basically it's going to give me a total of, what's this, plus 20, plus 40%. So as soon as that is done, it's going to be getting on to the next one, and basically for every 2 and a bit, for 40%, it's going to give me a free rocket progress as this purple goes up. And now I'm just really waiting on this effect transmission and watching this. Effect transmission is done, so I can now set these, they'll start going. And I can even start making some by hand. I guess I should have made some cable, oh well. Now, as soon as I get the first one, I'm going to put the modules in it. It's going to be the speed module, so our bot should build this as soon as one is ready. Any moment now. Okay, here it is. So put the modules in it, then I can copy paste it around here. Now basically you can surround the entire roboport, what am I saying roboport, the entire rocket silo with speed beacons. And as these get built up, now I've got substantially more speed, 290% bonus crafting speed, even with the productivity modules factored in. So that's going to get this last bit done very, very quickly now that those beacons are built. Now we're going to see what the time is. So it says preparing, going to hit launch as soon as it lets me. I think I have to wait for this animation to finish. They're still building more beacons, I don't really care at this point, I'm just going to let them finish that. Because the only thing for completion that matters now is this. Off it goes. Reformation, I didn't build a satellite because I'd need to get this, which is another 16,000 science packs. That's going to be a thing to be doing after this. Just because I wanted to get the rocket launched, and so I've done it. That's probably one of the loudest sound effects in the game. So yeah, I was well over the 13 hour point. I did get it done just under 14 hours. Considering my target time really for There Is No Spoon is 8 hours, this was not really an achievement one. Although that said, something I also learned is you can't get the There Is No Spoon achievement without biters, and on this monthly map we didn't have biters. So that was kind of unfortunate. Even if I had done it, I wouldn't have got that achievement on this save. But 14 hours, I'm kind of happy with it, because the first time I played Minable Intermediates, it definitely made this a lot easier. Considering how much science I needed, it's not like there's a small number of science packs I'm being made here. This is quite a few production science packs rather. And it was similar, doing quite a lot of yellow. An interesting thing I kind of realised here at the end was, having gone to all that trouble previously and spent basically 3 hours expanding out this here to get all these low density structures, you'll now see I've got way too many low density structures. Because when it comes down to it, if you look at the research here, for these yellow science packs, you only need to do these 2 researches. Nothing else mattered. So that's 8,000, so that's 10,400. That's still a huge number of science packs, but not anywhere near as much I actually made production for. I could have done a lot less. Purple became a bigger issue because you had to do these two, so that's extra ones. So that's 2,400 more purple, and obviously the purple a lot later than yellow, which means in the end, like, the purple was the bottleneck. And I suppose if you're trying to do it under 8 hours, I probably didn't need the robots, or at least not the good robots with the logistics, because this head logistics system, that's 4,000 science packs. That's kind of why I got stuck on yellow utility for so long, was because of this. And then it's like, well, I probably should upgrade the robots, but like if you look at the worker speed, especially with like so expensive, doing this worker speed 4, that was another 2,000 science packs. So essentially that was 6,000 utility science packs I never needed to make. And 6,000 utility science, 6,000 packs is a huge number this early in the game. So I think I could have done it under 8 hours, maybe with some better planning. I'm not sure I got time to try that. I kind of want to carry on playing this game. I did actually, to be honest, do it under 8 hours on a separate playthrough, but that was with companion bots, which are way, way more powerful than logistics bots and construction bots on the basic bots what I had. Because basically they can like just delete this whole forest. They could build all this stuff in like seconds. They are extremely powerful. But I think I'll leave it there for today. I'll see about carrying on this for a bit further, see if I can get all the science running smoothly at least. I'd like to see how much like resources that would actually take and how it would look different to a normal super base, because, well, mega base I guess kind of. Because I haven't got to have the huge circuits production. I can just go get circuits like even this little mine here, that many red circuits, that makes up for a lot of assembly machines. And then I don't need the green circuits to fuel that, and I don't need the copper and the iron to fuel that. And in fact, if you actually look, like, the main base ran off this tiny copper thing entirely because it's just the red packs and some power poles. And likewise, like, I'm using very, very little of the iron production. Steel for the purple, as I said, purple was the big one. But I hope you've enjoyed that, and be sure to like, subscribe, and enable your notifications.